Hello everyone and a warm welcome to this video. I'm sure that all CAT aspirants are pretty excited at this point of time. With the official announcement out, you want to fill the CAT form at the earliest. But at the same time, there are a lot of things that you need to keep in mind while doing so. So this is our effort to help you with that. In this video, I'm going to cover all the detailed guidelines. So this is going to be step by step where I will actually show you the form and talk about the important things that you need to understand. Before we get started with the actual form, let's understand what are the things that you need to keep ready, and then you can proceed to the actual form filling. So let's get started. So let's talk about the important dates first. The registration had just started. So it started on the 3rd of August, and it is going to continue till 14th September up to 5 p.m. Of course, don't wait for the last day and make sure that you submit your CAT form well within the stipulated time. In terms of admit card release, it is going to happen on the 27th October, which is a month prior to the actual CAT date, which is 27 November. And the result, as it has always been the case, will be released in second week of Jan. It's tentative, but that is how it has been. So you can expect the same pattern to follow. Now let's talk about the documents that you need to keep ready before you start filling your own CAT application. So before you start, the first thing that you will need is, of course, your photograph. So with respect to photograph and signature, there are some specifications that they have given. For photo, it should not be more than 6 months old, and it has to have a white or off-white background. The dimension of the photo is supposed to be 30 by 45, and the maximum file size that you can upload is going to be 1 MB. It has to be either in .jpeg or .jpg format. Now, please upload the same photograph that you will affix on the admit card on the CAT day. Make sure that you have enough copies of this particular photograph. Digital copies would always be better, but if you don't have digital copy, make sure that you have sufficient number of copies of the photo that you're going to upload. If you don't have that, it is always advisable that you click a new photo and make sure that you keep digital copies of that as well, just in case you lose the physical ones. When it comes to signature, the maximum file size is supposed to be 80 KB. The dimensions are given as 80 by 35, and the same file format is supposed to be used. Now, just in case you're having trouble uploading these things, we have a solution. So there is a simple website called picresize.com. I will make sure that we keep the link in the description as well. So just in case you're not able to fit it in the file size specification, make sure that you use picresize.com, and then you can edit the photo the way you want to. Another very important thing that you need to keep in mind is that your photograph, signature, or any other document that you're uploading, whether it is your category certificate or a PWD certificate, if that is applicable, then those certificates should be scanned using a scanner only. Now, this is given because a lot of times students use their phone camera to scan these documents, and the clarity always becomes a problem. So instead of that, make sure that you use a proper scanner to scan any document that you're going to upload on the CAT form. The next set of things that you are going to require is, of course, a category certificate, if that is applicable. There is a prescribed format for this, which is there on the CAT website. We will leave a link in the description so you can check it out for yourself. Same thing applies for disability certificate. If it is applicable, you have to give it in the prescribed format as per CAT 22. The next is your academic details. Make sure that you have your 10th, 12th, graduation, post-graduation, if that is applicable, and your professional degree details. So gather all the mark sheets that you have at one place and then only start filling the form. Also, you'll have to convert your CGPA to percentage. And as we fill the actual form, you will get to know what are the intricacies of it. But the CGPA or the grade is supposed to be converted to percentage. And there are some important things there. So we'll cover that in the later part of the video. If you have work experience, you are supposed to enter your full-time paid work experience after graduation as on 31st July, which means that you might still be working, but you will only be able to enter as on 31st July what is the work experience that you have. And lastly, very important thing is, of course, the payment. So you have to ensure that you have either net banking, credit card, debit card, or any cash card or wallet details before you actually start filling the form, because this is going to be the last step of your application. Once you're done filling the application form, you're supposed to make the payment. And that is why keep all these details handy, then only begin the application process. So now I am on the official website of CAT, which is imcat.ac.in. Once you reach the landing page, you will see that on the left-hand side, you have the important dates. We have already spoken about it. On the right-hand side, we have new candidate registration and registered candidate login. Once you're registering for the first time, you're creating your account, you're going to use the first option, which is new candidate registration. Once you've already created your account and you are coming to the CAT form to make some edits, that is the time you will use the registered candidate login. At the bottom of the page, you're going to see links to a lot of important documents. So I suggest that you go through these, especially if you have any particular document that you're going to upload. And if you have any confusion, feel free to come here and have a look at the formats, because that will give you an idea as to what is the exact requirement from the CAT authority. Under the no more section, you will have the advertisement, information bulletin, the selection process of different IIMs, then the eligibility and media release. You also have a quick tour video. In case you want, you can go through it, but the video that I am making right now should be sufficient for you to understand what the entire application process is all about. And lastly, they have given the format for the different certificates. So let's start our registration process now. So I'm going to click on registered and show you what happens. So once you click on the register button, the first thing that you're going to see is this pop-up, and it says that you're supposed to use either a Mozilla or a Google Chrome or a Microsoft Edge, and they have specified the versions of these applications that you're supposed to use. The application form is compatible with Android and iOS as well, but the recommendation that we have is to use a proper laptop or a computer while you're filling the entire application form. So let me go ahead and close this. There is another pop-up that has come up, which says that there's a privacy notice here as to what is the reason why they're using that data. So the personal data that you will be uploading, so the applicant name, date of birth, mobile number, email address. So the name and date of birth will be used for official communication. The mobile number and email address is also going to be used for the same thing. So this is just for them to give like a privacy notice to you. There's nothing much to be done about it. You just need to close the pop-up. So now we'll start with the registration. So it says register to get user ID and password. You are supposed to enter name of candidate here, your own name, and make sure that you put your name exactly as it appears on your 10th or SSC certificate. Another important thing is that only alphabets are allowed in this particular box. The next thing is date of birth. So you have a calendar icon, you can click on it, select the date of birth. Then email address, you will have to type the same email address in the confirm email address box. You select the country where you're from, then the mobile number with the country code and the mobile number, which is 10 digits, and you have to confirm the same mobile number. So enter the same mobile number again. And once you're done with this, you have to click on generate OTP. After this, you also have the CAPTCHA verification that you will have to do. So you will have to click on I agree, enter this CAPTCHA, and then you are done. So once you're done with this, your registration ID will get created. You will get a communication on your email address with the details, and you will use those details to log into the platform once again. So let me complete these steps and then show you what happens next. So once you complete the OTP and the CAPTCHA verification, you will get a success message like this. It will say that your registration has been successfully completed. Your user ID and password has been sent on the email address and the mobile number. So the details that you have got, you're supposed to use them and log in again to the dashboard to actually fill the form. So at this point of time, only the user ID has been created. There are a lot of details that need to be added in the actual form, but to do that, you will have to first log out and then log in again. So let me do that and show you the actual steps. So once you have completed all the previous things and you log into the dashboard, this is what you're going to see. It will say that your registration has been successfully completed. Click on go to application form on the top right side to fill your application. So you have to click here, which is go to application. Let me click on it and show you the next thing. So the CAT form is divided in 6 different parts. The first part is personal details, academics, work experience, programs, test city, and payment. Now in the personal details part, the name that you had initially entered, that will get auto-populated. And in addition to that, you will have to enter the first name, middle name, last name in the next 3 fields. After this, you'll also have to enter your father's or guardian's name and mother's or guardian's name as well. In case you have a spouse, you can enter those details. Otherwise, it's an optional field. In other personal details, you will first have your date of birth. Again, it is going to get auto-populated. from the first part of the form when you had entered it. So after date of birth, you will have to specify the gender, the nationality, and your category. Make sure that you do the right selection, because if you make any errors and end up submitting the form, there is no way that you can modify these details. The only way in which then you can fill a new application form is to have a different email ID and a mobile number, create a fresh login, and do the entire process all over again. It's a lot of hassle. And that is why make sure that you go slow while filling the form, take your time, do a lot of cross checking, and then only do the final submit. So you enter the right category, select if you are belonging to the person with disability, and the first and the second COVID vaccination dates. Now the COVID vaccination dates is an optional field. If you want to enter it, you can. Otherwise, you can leave it blank. The next step is your communication address. So here you will have to enter the details of the address. This can be the postal address where you're currently residing or the address for communication. So this is address line 1, 2, 3. You have to also select the country, the state or the union territory, district, the town or the city, and then the PIN code. They will also ask you for an alternate email ID. So just in case you have any other email ID that you use, you can enter it there. Otherwise, it's an optional field. You also need to specify emergency mobile number. So you'll have to give a contact number in case of any emergency, and you'll have to enter relationship with candidate. So it could be your parents or it could be your guardian. The next part is document upload. So this is where you are going to upload your photograph, signature, and if the category certificate or the PWD certificate is applicable, this is the part where you are going to upload these documents. So here they have already given the photo specification and sample photos. We have spoken about it, but let me click here and show you what happens. So it will give you a document where they have given all the specifications, and there are some examples that have been given as to why a particular photo is acceptable and why it is not. So you can go through the samples here. But again, if you have a clear photo, I don't think it should be a problem. Okay, so just make sure that you have the right photo format and the file size so that the upload becomes very easy for you. So once we click here to upload, let's see what happens. So this shows an option is like a pop-up where you can either drag and drop or you can browse and give a path. So the first thing is photographs and signature. So here, once you click on photograph, again, the specifications have been given. Just drag and drop the photo or upload it by giving the path. Do the same thing for signature. And once you're done, you can proceed to the next step. So let me complete this part of the form, and then I will show you what is the next section. The next section is academics, and this is where most of the students end up making mistakes because they don't read the instructions carefully. So read the instructions very carefully, understand what you're supposed to do before you enter and move to the next step. So firstly, you'll have to enter all your graduation, your 12th and your 10th standard details. And while doing so, there are some important notes that they have given. So the first thing is the conversion of percentage of marks would be based on the procedure as certified by the respective board or university or institution. If they have not given any particular scheme to convert your GPA or grade to percentage, then it would be established by dividing the obtained GPA by the maximum GPA. So let's say you belong to a university where they have not given you what the conversion from, say, a GPA to percentage is, and the maximum GPA in your case is, let's say, 5, and you have obtained 4, that would mean you have got 80%. So that is the conversion that you can use if nothing has been mentioned. But otherwise, you will continue to use the formula that is provided by your respective university, board, or institution. So let's first start with the SSC. Now here, SSC 10th equivalent board name. So you'll have to specify the board from which you did the 10th standard. Then the month and year of completion has to be entered. After this, you have to enter the maximum marks inclusive of all subjects. So you have to ensure that you put every single subject that appears on your mark sheet. You're not supposed to do best of something while doing this. So all the subjects that appear on the mark sheet, which have some marks, that obtained marks, maximum marks, so to enter all the subjects, enter the total of maximum marks and the total marks obtained by you. Then the aggregate percentage. So here again, they have given some notes. Please go through this. The first one I've already described, that you have to enter all the subjects. And the second thing that you need to keep in mind is the rounding off. So the aggregate percentage should be entered as an accurate value rounded off to 2 decimals. They have given 2 examples here. So do your own calculations for your own marks and make sure that you enter it in the right manner. The same thing applies for 12th standard as well. So there's no difference. You will have to first decide whether you did a 12th equivalent or a diploma. Then the maximum marks are supposed to be entered inclusive of all subjects, total marks obtained, again inclusive of all the subjects, and then the aggregate percentage. They have just used the same examples to show how the calculation is supposed to be done. The next is bachelor's degree details. So here you'll first have to enter whether you have completed your graduation or not. So are you in the final year of bachelor's degree and have you completed bachelor's degree or not? So if you're somebody who is in the final year, you'll have to select yes. And in case you have already completed your graduation, you'll have to say no. The next question is, have you completed bachelor's degree? Again, it's a yes or a no field. And do you have or are undergoing a dual or a 5-year integrated course? Now, let's say you're in the final year. So let me make that selection and show you what options you're going to get. So you will see that you'll have to enter the total duration of degree, the current semester, the type of university, the state or the union territory where the university is, the name of the university, name of the college, the name of the degree, discipline. So I understand that there are a lot of things to do, but you'll have to be patient and fill the form. The graduation stream, the month and year of the course commencement, so the starting of the program, and then the probable month and the year of completion. The marks or the percentage awarded by university has to be entered. Again, here they have given an example as to what needs to be done if you have a dual degree. And in case you have a dual degree or you're undergoing an integrated program, you will have to select yes and then specify those details. If let's say you have already completed your graduation, you can say, are you in the final year? No. Have you completed bachelor's degree? Yes. And then enter the details of the degree that you have obtained. So you complete all of this. And just in case you have more than one bachelor's degree, for example, if you're done BCom plus LLB or B plus B Farm or something like that, then you can select this. And if you don't have that, you just uncheck it, right? If you click on it, you'll have to enter the second bachelor's degree details. If you don't click on it, you don't have to do it. The next is master's degree. So just in case you're somebody who has done your master's, you can select yes here, whether it is in progress or you've completed it. And basis that there will be questions that you'll have to answer, such as the duration, the university, union territory, and so on. These are basically the same fields that you had for your graduation details as well. So you complete all of this, and then you go to the last part, which is the other professional degree details. Now, in other professional degree, the first question is, are you a fellow of the Institute of Actuaries of India? Again, yes, if you are, no, if you're not. And do you want to enter any professional degrees such as CA, CS, or ICW? Now, let's say if you say that, yes, I want to enter this, they will ask you whether you are in progress or you have already completed it. So you can say, for example, CA, whether you have completed it or it is still in progress. So if you are undergoing CA at this point of time, you'll say CA and in progress. And if you're completed, you will say CA and completed. If you don't have any professional qualification, you just have to leave the fields blank. But for whatever selection that you make, if you are doing it, you will have to enter the name of the degree, the professional inter marks, final marks, and so on and so forth. So all the details or the marks are supposed to be entered for whatever degree that you will select, whether you are undergoing it or you have completed it. So you finish all of it, and then you can click on Save and Next. As I said, please double check this part because academics is one part where majority of the students make a mistake. The next step is your work experience. As I mentioned in the beginning as well, WorkX is supposed to be entered as on 31st July, and only full-time experience after graduation will be considered. A lot of students have questions regarding any articleship or internship that they have done, but as clearly said, part-time project, internship, articleship, pre-graduation work experience is not supposed to be entered, and it will not be counted as work experience. You're supposed to enter the exact date when you started working in the industry and the date when you finally exited that particular industry or the company. So here you'll have to select the industry type first of all. So let me show you by using an example. So let's say I select automobile, right? I will have to specify work experience in days as on July 31st, 2022. So I'll give the start date and I will give the end date. And if there's any break in between, we'll have to mention it. So if you hover over it, it will say that please enter any gap in work experience in days. If no break, please enter 0 and then proceed. So if I work across different industries, I can select those industries and enter the right details. So let me enter some value and let's see how the whole thing looks. So let me select June 1st and I'm going to select July 31st. And by the way, that is the maximum that you can enter. You cannot even select a date which is, let's say, August or September of this year. Let me say there's no break, right? And it will calculate automatically that I worked for 61 days. At the bottom, it will show that total work experience in days as on July 31st is 61. So you select all the applicable industries, give the start date, give the end date, and in case there's any break, you can enter it. It will automatically calculate the days and just make sure that towards the end, the tally is correct. And once you're done with this, you can simply click on Save and Next. The next part is, of course, selection of programs. So here you'll have to specify which programs of various IMs you want to apply to. And the simplest thing that one can do is click on Select All. And once you do it, you'll have to give the interview city preference as well for each of the programs that you're applied for. So let's say I click on Select all the programs will get selected. However, I will have to specify the interview city preference. So I click here and say that my first city preference is Ahmedabad, the second preference is Bangalore, for example. And I'll have to do that for each and every program that I've chosen. If you want, you can be selective here and apply only to those programs that you want to get into. For example, maybe there's no point applying to the PhD programs, right? Let's say if you're not interested in PhD, you don't want to select it. That's fine. You can decide not to select those. And then finally, once you're done, just simply click on Save and Next. The next part is test city selection. So the applicants can select any 6 test cities as per preference from the dropdown. So depending on the location preference, for example, you might be residing in a particular city, but you are more comfortable in a particular other city because you are working there. And because of the location proximity, you want to take the test from that. So definitely go ahead and enter the preference as per your choice. You can give 6 preferences, and the first preference should be the one which is going to be the closest to you. So once you complete the test city selection, the only remaining thing is payment. So let me complete the test city part and show you the payment page. So now I'm on the last page, which is payment. So depending on the category selection that you have made, it will show you the applicable registration fee. And from here, it will show you the charges, etc., for different modes of payment. So depending on the mode that you choose, you might incur some extra charges. The payment mode is what you will have to select, whether PayU or CC Avenue. Enter the right details and proceed the way you do for any normal banking transaction, and then you're done. Once you're done with this, this is the most important step. So here you will have to put a tick mark in that box which says, I have previewed the application form. Please don't be in a hurry to submit the form. Okay, make sure that you do thorough checking. Once or twice you should go through the entire form, preview it, show it to somebody, and just ensure that every single thing that you have entered in the form is correct. And only when you are satisfied with it, you can do the final thing, which is I have previewed it and it is the data that it reflects is accurate. You're done with it, enter the CAPTCHA, you can then submit the form. And with that, you're done with the CAT application. So that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you have found this video useful and it has answered all your questions with respect to the CAT application form. But just in case if there's something that is bothering you and you're not able to figure out answer to it, feel free to leave a comment on this particular video. In the description, you will find a link to a detailed guideline document. I suggest that you go through that document as well to know more. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment. In case you're not subscribed to the channel, I request you to do it. We'll be very happy to see you as part of the IMS family. So just in case you haven't done it, please do it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one and wish all of you all the best for your CAT preparation.